Hello, and welcome to the third installment of Oracle Storytelling. I am Sarah Wing with Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts, and I want to thank John today for helping with the story. So I've asked for 4 numbers, 1 through 100, which will relate to the page numbers in 4 books, and 4 numbers, 1 through 10, which will relate to the paragraph as I count down the page. Okay. In this connection, let me return for a moment to Margaret's dream of leaving the dance. You'll recall that in her initial experience of the dream, she immediately knew that the black man coming forth out of the shadows to her left was a rapist and a murderer. Her later imaginative, meditative work with the dream suggests that her initial perception was a mistake. In some ways it was always a mistake to assume that the way one views any experience constitutes the whole truth about that experience. But in an equally important sense, it was an accurate perception, to the extent that when she had the dream, she self-identified with the figure of the prissy goody-two-shoes person of the dream. Her perception that the energy taking shape in the dream of the black man was murderous, that is, intent on the destruction and subsequent rebirth in new form of that aspect of her total personality, to that extent, her initial perception was quite accurate. The feelings that Marie has about herself, like her fear that she will not be able to sustain a relationship with a man, are also feelings that she cannot admit to herself. These feelings are not only inside Marie, they permeate the way she sees and relates to the world. But her explicit perceptions of herself and of Jim do not permit such unacceptable meanings to be clear, for she is bent on not liking her mother. She is therefore closed to important aspects of her own experience. She is terrified that what happened to her mother will happen to her, but what she does not appreciate is that she is really like her mother, and on a level of experience that is unclear to her, that she knows that she is. Her feelings of being unworthy of love, of deserving to be abandoned, of failing where she thinks her mother failed, are hidden from her explicit understanding of herself and of the world, but they are nevertheless embedded in every perception of Jim as he happens to glance at other women. I am drawn to painting. If my first attempt with a paintbrush doesn't produce the equivalent of a Van Gogh, I am told I should give up. That is a slight exaggeration, of course, but you get the picture, pun intended. We're not allowed to learn to do something new because we don't already know how to do it. Ego wants a guaranteed outcome before we start. Thus, our dreams are always going back and forth along the road, so to speak, between our limited, blind sense of egocentric, anguished, existentially separate self that tends to characterize our waking experience, and this transcendent, deeply unconscious experience of direct, meaningful participation in the larger life of all. Wherever a roadblock exists along this path, wherever a bridge is washed out or a rock slide has covered the roadway, it is there that the dream sets up their tents and begins to put out their little morality plays in an effort to motivate the dreamer to freely choose to do the work to clear the way and move closer to that transcendent, creative realization experience. Whenever we succeed in removing a roadblock, the dream skips on ahead to the next place that needs repair work and set up their traveling tent show again. So thank you again to John. John, I know, is a teacher, and that inspired me to include 2 books by one of my favorite teachers, Jeremy Taylor, who is a beautiful human being and who is now with us in spirit. So in reverse order, the books that I read from today for the story: The Wisdom of Your Dreams by Jeremy Taylor. I Don't Want to, I Don't Feel Like It by Sherry Huber. A Primer in Phenomenological Psychology by Keene. And Dream Work, Techniques for Discovering the Creative Power in Dreams, again by Jeremy Taylor. So I hope you enjoyed that, and have a great, creative, and deeply vivid, dreamlike day. All right.